It's a couple minutes after 5. We have Commissioner Jones is be here very shortly, next few minutes, I think. I've talked with him. We're going to do some preliminary things, and he did want to be present for some of the more substantial things, so
he's pulling in the parking lot.
Pulling in the parking lot. So we're all relieved. All right. Madam Clerk, well, we'll call roll and then add him here shortly.
Okay. Commissioner Abraham?
Present.
Commissioner Bartleman?
Here.
Judge Clymer?
Here. Commissioner Bartleman, you offer our prayer, please.
Father, thank you for the blessings of this day. Thank you for the opportunity we have to serve this county. Pray you be with us tonight as you make important decisions for this community and for the residents of this community who are in need and have a need that hopefully we can help with. Father, we're thankful for our first responders for the hard work they do, for putting their lives on the line every day as they travel up and down the highways and answer calls and domestic violence and things that can be. We're just thankful for them and for their talents and skills and dedication. Also pray for their families, Father, as they support the work that they do. And Father, we're just so thankful for all the other employees we have, for the jail employees, for the clerk's office, the road department, all the others. We just pray for them. Continue to be with them as they serve the citizens of this county. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, we stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first up, consent agenda.
It is ordered to approve the consent agenda for October 27th, 2025, McCracken County Fiscal Court.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries.
It is ordered that the necessary cash transfers in the amount of $2,375,000 be made in order to pay county bills and payroll approved October 27th, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries.
It is ordered to approve the voucher claims register from October 13th, 2025 to October 27th, 2025 to show county bills in the amount of $100,419.01 were paid.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries. We have listed as next discussion from the sheriff. We'll hold that just for a few minutes for Commissioner Jones. I'm sure would like to be in on that. Let's go to the board appointment.
It is ordered that Jeff James be reappointed to the Barkley Regional Airport Board for a term ending September 30th, 2029.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, no. That carries. Any court orders?
It is ordered that the judge executive is authorized to enter into a contract with Parker Payment Systems for the processing of credit card payments.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries.
It is ordered to approve change order number 1 with a perfect mound in the amount of $78,380 for the addition of 32 portable mounds. This amends the total bid package from $246,277 to $324,657. It is further ordered that the judge executive and treasurer are authorized to issue purchase orders and pay invoices for the same.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah. Change order. It bumped the total package to $324. What was? I mean, did we miss something the first time? Or
We don't have Steve Irvin with us today. I'm trying to think what he... Oh. Yeah, you're here to address that.
I am.
All right, go ahead.
So my name is Jeff Woodside, and I am
He used to play
the
basketball.
director of ops. I did. Director of ops at Paducah Sports Park. And change order is, and I know you guys have seen the layout of the park, but we'll have the ability to accommodate up to 20 games at a time. Mm-hmm. On the original purchase order, there were 8 mounds included for our 8 permanent bullpens, but did not take into account the additional games that we'll be able to host. So that is the reason for the change order.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yep.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed, no. That carries. C,
It is hereby ordered that Varsity Scoreboards be awarded the quote for 2 scoreboards and an outdoor video display at the championship field in the Paducah Sports Park for $118,007.50. Varsity Scoreboards was selected based on a cooperative purchasing agreement from the Purchase Pros Contract number 1010752-CLS2022.025. It is further ordered that the judge executive be authorized to enter into a contract and sign all necessary documents for the same, and the treasurer be authorized to pay invoices.
Motion.
Second.
any discussion? I understand that's going to be, well, of course, for $118,000, you expect to be a nice scoreboard, but it's going to be really nice. Look forward to that. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries. We're waiting. We're holding off on doing anything till you get in. Let's see. Anyway, let's finish out. We're on court orders D. Let's finish out those court orders real quick, and then we'll go back to Sheriff.
Okay. It is ordered to approve the grant agreement for Paducah Interfaith Ministry Incorporated, PCM, for funding up to $200,000. It is further ordered that the judge executive is authorized to sign the agreement, and the treasurer is authorized to make payments related to the same.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? No?
Let me say that I got more emails and more letters and more phone calls on this issue than I did any issue I think I've ever dealt with. Even when we were doing things people didn't like, we got fewer letters. I know it was well organized by Paducah Cooperative Ministry to get people to write, but I just wanted to, what really impressed me was the different organizations and different people who sent letters, took time to send letters of support. We got a letter from the Community Kitchen, the Community Foundation, Lord's Hospital, United Way, the Library, Western Baptist, the Marquette Foundation, and the Merriman House, the McCracken County School Board, and none of our school board members. I probably got more than 20 emails, I'm sure everybody else did too, to show support. What really was encouraging to me was to see how all these organizations are working together to provide services for McCracken County. It's a concern I've had for a long time, but whether or not they competed with one another or whether they worked with one another. So these letters of support obviously show that they're working together. And each of the letters, it wasn't a form letter. Everybody wrote their own letter. Again, they may have had some help with them, but everybody wrote their own letter. Too often, when people do comment on things, they do a form letter, people just sign it and turn it in. And every letter, you might get 10 letters, it all says exactly the same thing. So that doesn't mean as much to me as these letters where each of them were at least drafted on differently. So it's been a long process to go through this. The only criticism that I heard was from someone who wanted to know why we scrutinized this grant request more than any other grant request that we received. And that's not so. We scrutinize every grant request we get, but the debate has been in budget hearings, which did not generate TV time and great media coverage. So we did not scrutinize this grant request any more than we scrutinized any grant request that we get. So we do everyone to be good stewards of the county's money. So we weren't picking on the cooperative ministry. We were just giving them the same, vetting them the same as we do every other organization. So I just appreciate all the work that's been done, how people have been patient with us to educate us on this grant and how it's going to help the community.
Well, I looked at the contract today, Kate. I thought the contract worked. I was able to talk with Lacey, and it seems like the contract works for Fiscal Cooperative Ministries. I want to echo Bill's comments. It has been illuminating to learn so much about the nonprofits in this process and how they do work together, and to learn how important they are to our public health in Paducah. And you're truly appreciated. Your efforts, we wouldn't be the same community without you, and I think that we benefit an extraordinary amount because of the nonprofits. And so I'm certainly going to support this order.
Glad we could help.
I want to just explain to some extent why there were the questions that there were, and just so that's on the record. And there's several things we've gone by and practices we've adhered to, and so we, in fact, I don't know. I think that this order for PCM differs positively in PCM's favor over perhaps any other project that we've addressed, in that, well, several things. One was the timing. We have a budget session starts around May of each year, in which we would normally take a request for funding, and we would incorporate it into our budget talks, and so we can holistically look at the best we can, no crystal ball, but determine what are going to be our requirements, our expectations for the coming year. How much money do we think we're going to need? Where in the priority is this? Can we afford this amount of money? That sort of thing. We went ahead. This court decided to go ahead and address this outside of any other requirements. So that's unusual and in PCM's favor in this instance. Another thing that has happened is it is really unprecedented in my recollection that the county would contribute to the extent that we are about to a project that is located within the city. Now, it's going to affect the county and the city, but we have come to a practice with very minor exceptions, wherein if a project is located, let's say, wherever the project is located, whatever venue, that venue then would pay 75% of the request for funds, and the non-venue would pay the 25%. So in this case, because it's located within the city limits, following that precedent, we would typically offer to pay, if we're going to participate, that's the first thing, but we would offer 25% of the requested funding, and the city pay 75%. We've done that in multiple projects. The most recent, I guess, is the one we're just about to complete. It was the $4 million clearing and grubbing at the Triple Rail site. It was right at a $4 million project because it's in the county and not within the city limits. The county paid $3 million. The city paid $1 million. And of course, the revenue that eventually is going to come off of that project, whatever it ends up being, is going to support the city as much, if not more, than it will the county. And so we have set that aside for this. In this case, the city, I understand, has made a pledge, or maybe even paid $65,000. We are paying 3 times that amount, a little more, at $200,000, even though this project is physically situated within the city. I was very interested also in the concern about what I think the best term is of migration of homeless to the county, to McCracken County, to receive services, food, shelter, a bed at night. I took some time and tried to educate myself on something I didn't know a whole lot about, and studied some studies, including one from Journal of Policy Development Research done by University of Kentucky and SIU on the Kentucky homelessness situation, addressing point-in-time homelessness and migration and that sort of thing. And the study really does, it doesn't say it concludes, but it suggests that where there are shelters and services, food, housing, etc., that it tends to cause homeless folks to migrate to the place where those are available. I think it would be difficult to argue with that, really. If I'm homeless or if I'm in need of services somewhere and they're not here, but they're over there, perhaps I'm going to go there to receive those services. And so I wanted to get a handle on that, and I still have the concern about it, and that more services, I think, means that more homeless are going to come to our county. The reason that's important, and I got the message loud and clear last meeting, people are concerned about homeless people and providing services, perhaps, and we had a speaker come up and voice the opinion that in essence we want to provide food, shelter for homeless regardless of where they are. I hope everyone can understand that when a county such as us, when we take from the citizens the tax money, that's not donations, we're taking from the residents money to support our county and the people of our county. And so we're under a mandate really to make sure that what we take from the people provides a benefit to the people, the residents of our county. There are multiple counties surrounding us that have no shelters, have no food services, and just bordering us. I think Graves County has some. Multiple other counties surrounding us do not. And so as for this study, I think we can expect, if we're not careful, can expect that we will see homeless folks come to our community to enjoy the services and the shelter that we're providing on the McCracken County taxpayers' dime. But we are obviously going to do this. I think that we can mitigate that by asking that PCM, as was indicated, make every effort that you can to give priority to McCracken County homeless. There are people who have originated in their homelessness within our county. There are people who originate in their homelessness from other counties. And so I just think it's a basic premise that we need to hold to the people at PCM to do what they can to try to assure that, to the extent they can, that these beds, these services go to McCracken County citizens as a strong priority, not asking that beds go empty when there are not McCracken County people there to fill them. We want to provide for others when there is room for others, but I just think it ought to be a priority for our McCracken County citizens. And so I certainly are not going to oppose what the majority of this court wants to do, but I just wanted to have those concerns on the record, and so that we can, as we go through this process, do the best that we can that this serves McCracken County. I also made a call to the sheriff. I was suspicious. I was in police work for 9 years back in the day. It's been a minute, as the young people say, since I've been in that. But of course, I was a judge, a judicial branch judge for more than 2 decades, and so dealt with homeless issues and that sort of thing from the courthouse. So it's an important thing to get done. Where I was headed, I talked to the sheriff about when it was mentioned the last meeting that perhaps we could save money and that we would not be incarcerating homeless people. In my 9 years of police work, I don't recall, certainly I didn't, and I don't recall any other police officer ever arresting and incarcerating a person only for being without a home, without a shelter to spend the night. If they go to jail, they go to jail because they're intoxicated, or they have drugs, or they're combative or disorderly, or there's something else besides being homeless. We don't in this county incarcerate people who are unfortunate in that they don't have a place to stay. And won't go into some efforts that we made to get people into a place where they could spend the night, but we did that, and I think we've got a good representation of our sheriff's department here, and I think they agree with that too. We're all people that understand people come upon hard times, and jail is not the place for a person that's homeless. So I don't think that's a consideration. So with all that, now so we have the order. Cade drew it up. I tinkered with it just a little bit. It does. Did you look at the order? Yeah. Everybody's good with it without any changes?
So are you talking the order or the contract?
Contract.
Yeah. I thought the contract was fine.
Okay.
I was okay with the terms of the contract.
Okay. So just the highlights of it are that it provides for $100,000 now or within the next day or two, and then $100,000 at the end of the project, whatever that is, up to $100,000 at the end. We put that up to, hoping that perhaps it'd be less. I've not seen anything cost less than what we thought it would in many years now, but hope springs eternal, I guess. But also with the hope that perhaps with us giving 200 and the city 65, 200,000 in the city giving 65,000, that perhaps they would step up and contribute more. Perhaps they will, maybe they won't, but it would be consistent with our past practice that I went into about the 75-25 split, but we'll see. That allows for that possibility. I don't know that there was anything else really
Judge,
substantive.
some comment further. I totally agree with you that we don't want this to be a magnet for homeless from other communities to come in here. We don't want them spreading the word that Paducah's got a good center. Let's all go down there. And we've been assured by Paducah Cooperative Ministry they're going to do everything they can to prevent that. Also, I think it's not just a city issue. In fact, it's in the city. It also serves the county. We got letters from the McCracken County School Board representatives about the problems they have with homeless, that now they have to put them in hotels, and they do everything they can to help young people who are in school. So this will help keep expenses down and have a place for them to house McCracken County students that are homeless. It's also important to note that, and I know others have too, but the two hospitals have both contributed quite a bit of money to help with this, and they serve not just Paducah, but all of McCracken County. And the Merriman House was talking about the shortages they have in housing people who are homeless. I forget how many, 100 or some. They've got a waiting list that's long, so to help reduce their waiting list. So I share your concern about us being a magnet for attracting people, but you know, if somebody's in Paducah and they're homeless, they're in Paducah and they're homeless. And you can't say, well, you know, 2 weeks ago I was in Bowling Green. You can't say, well, we can't help you then. We have to help them. But we don't want somebody coming from Bowling Green here just because we have a housing place to house them. So I share that concern, and that was really my real reluctance initially to approve this grant when we discussed it back during the budget session. We didn't have the answers to that, but again, I'll repeat myself because I want to emphasize this, and I want Paducah Cooperative Ministry to understand that they need to do everything they can to prevent from being a magnet to attract people into the community, and they've assured us they're going to do that.
Let me just respond on 4 points. Number one, I think it's important you said the new emergency shelter on McCracken County dime, and the reality is that we're contributing toward the plumbing costs. There have been a multitude of agencies and people who have given, and we're a very small portion of this project, the cost of this project. And we owe a tremendous gratitude toward those who are funding the project in much greater amounts than we are. And I just remind, not everybody watches these meetings back to back, and maybe only a few people watch them. But
who's greater than we are?
I'm sorry.
Who's greater than we are?
I don't remember what
in dollar amount.
Oh, who is giving more? Well, I assure you that there are. I don't know that I have permission to actually name the name.
Oh, there are, but we're not the largest contributor.
We are not the largest
individual contributor.
No, we are not.
At 200,000.
We are not.
Okay.
The letter from Lords indicates they gave 200,000, 250. I got the letter here, but it's more than what we're getting.
I saw Baptist, heard from Kenny Boyd, they gave us 100. But anyway, my point was that we have a precedent of 75-25 split with the city.
And you're right, and I think that is an important point to make, that we do follow that, particularly in economic development matters, and I think it's a sound doctrine, as I call it, the Clymer doctrine. But on this issue, I felt it important to do it outside the budget. Frankly, I just wasn't ready. I was interested at the time we were doing the budget when we normally do it. I just didn't have as much of the knowledge as I felt like I needed to do about it, because we typically do not, or have not in the last 6 years since you and I have been on the court, we have not contributed to operation funds of nonprofit organizations, but we have contributed to one-offs. The Senior Citizen Center, for example, they had some construction costs. We contributed to that. This is plumbing cost. So it just simply was a matter of not having the information and being able to do the diligence in May. I felt like this was a good time to do it, and that's why I made the motion outside the budget area. I think it's also important to remember with regard to homeless issue, it doesn't matter where that person started being homeless. When they land in our county, they're homeless, and it's not just, it's a two-person issue. Somebody owns that land, and that landowner is certainly a McCracken County issue, and I just think we want to be a community that participates in the way that we're handling this, and the truth is, from a government standpoint, by partnering with the nonprofits, we are getting such a bigger bang for our buck. And that's really what I hope that I'm conveying is we are so grateful that we have partners that are willing to take our little $200,000 and turn it into feeding the 5,000. So, referencing the story of Jesus. Certainly encourage my fellow city commissioners. I'm a member of the city, and I think the city should contribute. I personally do not want this number to be renegotiated at the end of the contract. I've made this motion for the plumbing cost, and that's where my vote will stay. But if my city commissioners find something that they want to fund, I encourage them to do so in the way we have. And this was just one of those issues that I did not want to negotiate within ourselves and then negotiate with find three of the 5 city commissioners in order to have a win. So that's, I guess, an explanation of my position again.
According to the letter from Michael Youngman, Mercy Health gave $250.
What?
According to the letter from Michael Youngman,
Oh.
Mercy Health gave $250.
Okay. All right. I don't know who else contributed to it, but the point about the migration entails that in the definition of it is that a person who is homeless in a place outside of McCracken County travels to McCracken County for the purpose of receiving housing and services, not just that he or she happens to land here. So it's that's what that.
I get that. And this particular service is, remember, it's a check-in at night, check-out in the morning, which I think will dissuade. I don't see somebody saying, I'm going to move to Paducah for that type of service. I think this truly is designed to alleviate the emergency that is presented to both the homeless person and that is potentially presented to the landowner and anybody else of the public that may be affected by the situation that can arise from that situation. And I think we'll be a safer community because of what your contributors are doing.
Okay. All right. So, any other discussion? I think I've already said, but I do want to say, I think all these concerns, all the migration issues, all the other concerns can be alleviated or they go away with how this place is operated. But I do think we would all agree. If someone disagrees, I'd like to hear it, but that priority should be given to McCracken County residents so long as, or homeless people who say their homelessness originated here, maybe is the clearest way to put it.
As opposed to a call from Christian County Sheriff said, we're going to bring somebody to you.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Judge. I think it's a good point.
It was interesting you said Bowling Green, because this study has a sub-study on Warren County. Warren County offers a number of shelters, a number of services. I didn't take count of all of it, but there are surrounding counties that do not. I think it compared Warren County with 6 maybe surrounding counties. All 6 roughly. The population of all 6 counties was about the same as the population of Warren County, and that after they built their shelters and offered their services, their homeless rate increased substantially from that migration. But again, perhaps they didn't give priority, and I hope that we will here, and that takes care of that. All right, no other discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, no. That carries. All right. we've got a whole bunch of sheriff's deputies. Let's get back on track and go to the, what was that discussion on the 4 with the sheriff? Sheriff, you want to come up? Y'all welcome to stay and listen to sheriff discussion, or if you got something possibly you might want to do, you can leave or stay, either one. Thank you. Thank you.
As always, I appreciate the opportunity to discuss these important topics with y'all. I fully understand that there's a baseball game of some sort going on tonight, so I will try to keep it brief. I know there's one Dodgers fan in here somewhere, unfortunately. You all know what I want to talk about, our base pay, the incentive pay, and additional deputies. And I think the greatest illustration that these are important issues are right back here, the members of the sheriff's office that are here, and some that even brought their families here. It's a topic that's been discussed at length at the sheriff's office, probably weekly by us, by supervisors, by deputies throughout the sheriff's office. And I just feel that as an elected official, it's my duty to let you know the condition of the sheriff's office that serves you all, as well as the county and McCracken and all the visitors. Overall, the sheriff's office, I believe, is in great shape. A lot of that, most of that is because of the men and women that are standing back there. A good portion of it is because of the advancements that you all have made, both in the technology and equipment that we've had, and the progress that we made in 2023 on the pay scale. But in 2025, we are starting to lose some ground. We've lost a couple good deputies lately, and those deputies left because of higher pay and less work at other agencies. And I believe another issue is being able to entice good certified law enforcement officers to transfer to us, as well as good qualified applicants to send to the academy. As you know, the sheriff's office is basically a business when it comes to hiring employees. We're competing with other agents. Yes, sir.
So we lost 2. Can you remind us where agencies we lost them to?
One to Graves County, one to the city of Benton, and we almost lost another one to Graves County, but he decided to stay, thankfully.
We're pretty competitive with Graves County.
We are.
With regard to salary.
Right, about $2 to $3 an hour is what they would be gaining by going to Graves County. It was more than that going to Benton, and just to put it in perspective, we hired somebody from Caldwell County that I'm very, very glad we have. He's a veteran too. He's still in the National Guard, and he only gained $1 an hour by coming from Caldwell County to our county.
And Benton is an outlier, it looks like.
Yes, Benton has always paid well.
Just so I'm getting to see information that
Yes,
people that are watching us aren't getting to see. Benton's starting pay is at $64,000. We're at $48,000, and Graves is at $49,000.
Yes.
And Benton is, they're higher than anyone. Well, no, Calvert City.
Calvert City.
Calvert City and Benton.
Calvert, Benton, and Paducah are the highest paid in our area. And I think, and I know pay isn't everything. We've done a lot of things culturally within our sheriff's office that I believe helps recruit and retain people. But I think you all would agree that personnel are our greatest commodity. The men and women back there are the best thing we can have at a sheriff's office. It doesn't matter how great our technology is, how great our training is. If you don't have the right people, you're not going to be a good agency. And I read a quote today that said, even when you're obsessed with the product, building the brand is ultimately about people. And that just resonated. I read that today, and it resonates with what I'm speaking about tonight. I gave you our pay scale and comparative agencies pay scales. And as you can see, as you noticed, we're behind several of the area agencies. But when you look at our numbers, we are one of the busiest agencies west of Warren County. The pay scale that you enacted in 2023, it has not been updated as personnel received raises each year. So that puts us back into where we were before 2023, where new hires are coming in at a lower rate than others, even if they have the same experience. So we have discrepancies, and that's what I illustrated on that first page that I gave you. The first line is the pay scale. The second line is the cost of living allowances. And then below the blue line is where the rates actually fall within personnel that we currently have. So you see there's still some discrepancies in there. And that's what you all took care of in 2023, which was a huge problem. And I think that if we're going to have a discussion, that is probably the first discussion we have to get everybody back on the same track.
All right. I'm not sure. That
It's
sounds like an important point that I need to understand, and I'm not sure I did.
So we have a pay scale that you all enacted in 2023.
Right.
People that were here in 2023 were on that pay scale. Since 2023, we've had 2 cost of living allowances. So if you were here in 23, 24, and 25, you were on the new pay scale and you got both of those cost of living allowances. If I come in here and I say I have 7 years on at another agency, I come here with 7 years of experience, I'm going to come in making $26.75, where if I've been here for all 3 of those, for the pay scale enactment and the 2 COLAs, I'm making $2 an hour more than that. So you have those discrepancies.
So we're not applying our COLA to our entry-level position, our entry-level salary.
To entry-level salary or any others, because we take up to 10 years of prior service. That's the way that we can try to entice certified deputies to come here. I think most agencies do that. Most agencies will take 10 years prior service. That's a cost savings to the county. As you all know, it takes about, if I hired somebody today, they are not by themselves in a cruiser for 12, 16 months. It depends on when they can get to the academy.
I mean, that sounds like a permanent fix we need to do.
Correct.
I mean, I don't want.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want whoever's in this chair to have to do this same discussion every 2 years.
Right.
So it sounds like the COLA should somehow be applied to that entry level position so that it does stay.
Right. That would be my suggestion, if possible, in an ordinance. Say that if a COLA is 2.9%, that it is applied to that pay scale, to the pay scale that you haven't enacted in the ordinance. And then so I would think that would take care of the future years, and you wouldn't have this particular issue anymore.
Okay.
Let me say this, and I agree with you about that. But I think I don't recall us discussing that before the last few months or so. If we did, I don't recall it, but I think that we just missed that point.
Right.
And now we're recognizing it. Is that correct, or do you think was that? I don't remember there being an ask.
I don't know that it was discussed in actual budget talks.
Yeah.
It had been discussed, and I think maybe when we went to the budget talks, it had said it was going to be taken care of, and among 100 other things, it fell through the cracks.
Yeah.
And I think obviously, I believe it needs to be fixed. And in regards to the pay as a whole.
Well, let me before we get on, because that's a major point that you're making here, and it sounds like Commissioner Jones is in agreement. I've given a good bit of thought to it, and I think the difference is, so a COLA is obviously cost of living allowance. It brings a employee's wages up to the point that he can live at the same lifestyle. He can purchase goods, whatever, that have now gone up because of inflation. So it's not based on merit or based on qualifications. It's based on inflation. And so I do think that our wages, our rate, our grid should include the COLA, because even though, like you say, you got somebody that's worked at another department, comes in with 7 years experience, the fact that he or she did not work here and missed out on 2 or 3 COLAs or whatever is not relevant to the wages. The wages ought to be based on purchasing power, not the qualifications of the person. And so I personally think that we should apply those COLAs to people that come in and had missed them. One I guess nuance there is the fact that if a person comes in, when they come in, people that come in to our agency prior to July, which is, I think, isn't that when we do COLA?
Yes.
Doesn't COLA become effective July 1?
July
maybe?
1.
Yeah.
And so we also need to be conscious of the fact that if a person comes in June 28th, that person's not going to get that person will get the COLA, but the person who comes in July 2 or later would not. And so we need to think about how we're going to handle that. A person comes in 3-4 days later doesn't get the COLA, and so makes less money than the person that. So we need to figure through that. But I don't know how you guys.
Do you know how many deputies you have would fall into that got caught in that roughly?
It's on that front page. The blue line, everything, the blue line and below is where people fall,
Okay.
like current employees fall. So you can see where it's
I see.
kind of different. And like, for instance, we have a patrol deputy with he's starting out at 2138. So, but if you added the COLAs to this pay scale, he'd be making more than $1 more an hour than he is now.
I agree. That's something we need to fix. I thought we could fix that.
Excuse me, Ms. Thompson, haven't we talked about this particular thing? Didn't we fix that?
No, to add future COLAs to a salary grid ordinance, I'm not sure how we handle that exactly. So no, we've never done it that way. We updated your salary grid in '23.
Okay.
And we added the previous COLAs to that at that time and redid it that way. But to actually say that a COLA is going to be added to those future numbers, I'm not sure how we do that in salary ordinance like that. Do you think?
That's what the Army does.
Yeah.
That's what the Army does.
The Army does do it.
They've got a grid. Everybody knows what everybody makes. 03s in 7 years to make X amount. And I think we're pretty close to that. I mean, that was our goal.
Correct. It just needs to stay with the COLA.
But I think we just simply, in our ordinance, we don't adjust the grid, we adjust the individuals. And so I think there's probably a way to include our grid in our ordinance.
Well, what do you think, Commissioner Abraham? You favor trying to get that done?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, let me work on the language. I'll work with Cade and we'll see what we can come up with on that.
Yeah, I think we should do that as soon as we can too. I mean, maybe January 1st, or should we wait until July 1st to catch up?
Well, I don't know.
We'll let 'em
Let me
study
see.
on it.
Let me see what we can.
Okay.
We won't sit on it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And, along with the general pay, that second page that I gave you all that I think some of y'all already been looking at, you can see the discrepancies between other area agencies. And yeah, I feel that given the amount of work that the deputies do day in and day out, that we should definitely not be middle of the pack in West Kentucky. We should be, personally, I think that if we're not first, we should be top 2 or 3. I understand that there's some cities that have considerable income from one source or another, but again, I believe our most important commodity are personnel, and they have families that they have to support, and when they see counterparts doing I wouldn't say less work, but taking less calls, still dangerous work no matter where you're at. It's a bit discouraging when you have a guy that you worked with last week that's going to another city and taking 8 calls in 2 weeks, but making $3 or $4 more an hour than you. That's discouraging, especially when you go home and you have 2, 3 kids to take care of and a wife to take care of. They start to wonder, what am I doing here? I'm busting my butt every day. So I think that in this discussion, we need to also discuss, in my opinion, increasing it even more and trying to do something for the future and staying off. Because again, you all in 2023, you all made a good stab at the pay discrepancies. Unfortunately, so is everybody else.
Yeah. So I remember when we were doing that, at least my goal was to try and get us within $10,000 of Paducah police. That was because we were significantly
Correct.
Lower than that. And maybe we narrowed that gap a little bit, but then their union contract, do we know what that's going to be?
They negotiate this year for the next 3 years. They went on, I have it right here.
I don't want to get dive down to numbers, but that's the mark I'm trying. If we maybe narrow that mark between the two of us,
right?
Calvert City and Benton. So I run a law business and try and hire lawyers every now and then. Whenever I'm interviewing somebody that is also being interviewed by the federal judge, I know I'm going to lose. He's going to pay more than me. There are just certain employers I know I can't compete with. Benton and Calvert may be that for you. They may just be a boutique town. Did I say that word right? That's the right word. Where they can, maybe they have fewer police officers and they can just simply pay more.
I agree. I do agree with that. And to answer your first question, City of Paducah was 6, 4, and 3 for the past 3 years. I know that my understanding is they're shooting for high ones again. They usually do. And I don't think that, in reference to Benton, Calvert City, I don't think that the men and women that are standing back there necessarily, are like adamant that it has to be them or higher. From what I understand, speaking to them, they know that you all made strides in the past, and as long as you continue all to make strides going forward, and they feel appreciated, because everybody wants to feel appreciated, and they can see that gap is narrowing or not getting larger. We have things that we do offer at the sheriff's office that other places don't necessarily offer. We do things within the sheriff's office that I believe is beneficial to everybody, that people probably stay at the sheriff's office for, things that aren't measured by wages and stuff. But I do believe that if they feel that you all do care and see the effort that you all put in, I think that's worth quite a bit.
So I'm seeing that the gap at 5 years and 10 years between us and Paducah Police is greater than 10,000, particularly 10 years. Our gap there is almost 13,000, about 11,000 at 5 years. 4 years, we've only got a gap of 7,000, which is good. but at 3 years, we're at 11,000. So would you think those are well, I don't know. I guess we can play with those numbers entirely, but I mean, that's where I'm looking is how do we close that number, knowing that, frankly, Paducah's numbers are going to go up too, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's the discussion I like to have. I think, I would think that they deserve to have that gap narrowed significantly. And the reasons why are the last thing I was going to bring up is just the call volume, and we'll get to that here in a few.
Let me these. I think I know the answer, but these salaries for the other agencies, they don't include the state incentive, do they?
No, none of these do.
So everybody gets the same incentive, whether
Correct.
you're with Paducah or McCracken?
Yes, as long as they're certified, they get the incentive pay from the state.
I think you told me, I don't want to derail us, I'm going to want to talk about this, but I know you're in the middle of a presentation, you're like, gosh, let me get through my presentation. But Benton and Calvert, in addition to having that high salary, they have a zero, I don't know what the right way to describe it. They don't have to pay anything for their health insurance. It's like
Correct. Yeah, that's
100% covered by the city.
Right. That's what we have been told by them. Those are, and of course that's a dollar benefit to them that's not even reflected on these on this grid that I gave you all.
Okay, I'll let you go.
Okay. So I think I've made that clear that I believe that gap needs to be narrowed. Moving on to incentive pay that we discussed as well. Those are the next two pages, and this has been done historically by us as well as other agencies, and it's a way to incentivize deputies to take on extra tasks. Most of these are either a semi-supervisor position or an instructor position or something that takes quite a bit of time outside of their normal deputy or detective job. I'd given you all a proposal earlier this year. I revised it a little bit because I know that you all weren't fully on board, so I revised it a little bit and trying to negotiate with that, and I'd like to know your ideas as well. But I believe it is extremely important that we have the best instructors that we can get. And while I was sitting back there, I thought that you all go to CAECO conferences, and CAECO attorneys and others come in and instruct on different topics, and you want the instructor that has been to the most recent classes, that does their research, comes in with the latest case law to discuss. And that's the same thing with our firearms instructors, our less than lethal instructors, our taser instructors. They have to continually study, look for the latest and greatest tactics. They look at case law. They make tests. They make lesson plans. They grade where we are at as an individual deputy and where we are as an agency, and say, okay, we're deficient here. We need to pick this up, or we're good here and we need to move over here. It's just like a teacher in a classroom. And those critical skills are essential to our job, and they need to be incentivized with extra pay. I can't tell you how much work they put into it. It's not, a lot of times they go home and do this work off the clock because they love it so much. They want to make each individual deputy better. Not only do they want to make that deputy better to serve the public better, but they want to make that deputy better so they can go home at night. Not every day are we caught in a situation that is life or death, but we had since 2015 or 2018, 17, we've had 3 deputy-involved shootings. I think if you go back to 12, we've had 4, and each one of those was successful because of training. Successful as in the deputy was safe because of training. Deputies that are standing in this room have saved lives through first aid, through tourniquets, through doing CPR, and that's because of training. That's because of the instructors that we have sent to schools. They come up with the lesson plans, and they teach these skills to deputies. So it's so much more than just being a deputy when you take on that instructor role. And honestly, looking at what they make now, if they make incentive pay, as well as what I propose, the incentive pay, it's not a whole lot more. It's more of a little bit of thank you for doing this. Please continue to do this, and please continue to serve us better. They're not going to get rich off of this incentive pay.
So so you've got a list there. We're currently doing some incentive pay?
Yes. So we currently have incentive pay for shifts, detectives, canines, corporals, our SWAT team, collision reconstruction, hostage negotiators, an animal investigator, and the physical fitness that we've discussed before, and firearms instructors. What we don't have that I believe needs to be added are an FTO. I don't know of any agency that doesn't compensate field training officers more than their regular pay. The drone operators, as you know, the technology is changing rapidly. We are using drones several times a week now for different things, and they get called out pretty frequently. And then the other thing that I discussed before is changing the firearms instructors to critical skills instructors and incorporating not only firearms but tasers, driving, defensive tactics, less lethal, that sort of thing, because they're all important. They're all things that CAECO says we need to train on every year, and by policy we have to train on every year, which means we have to have an instructor on every year, unless we want to pay for deputies to go somewhere else or have an instructor come to us. We have, this year we stood up an actual driving instructor, like a course where we go out and we're not only focusing on pursuits, but we're just focusing on everyday driving, backing into spots, doing traffic stops, incorporating it all together, and I believe they just need to be compensated.
So, all right, second language skill.
Yes.
So you want to go?
That's in there. We already have that.
You already have
We don't have
one.
anybody that's currently making that right now.
You do or don't?
Do not.
Okay. But it's in your budget? So that's...
It's in the incentive pay, yes.
All right, so it's not in green, so it's something you could offer now.
Right.
You just don't have...
Correct, yes.
You don't have a guy. You don't have
Right.
a person. Okay.
Yeah, the green is what we don't have, along with where I put the red mark. I would like to change it to critical skills and add to that.
Okay.
If I counted correctly, you have 31 officers now who get an incentive. Is that right? Did I add those up right?
Incentive
31.
pay?
Yeah.
I would have to count.
I mean, I added the numbers if my math
Yeah,
is correct.
if you added those numbers, then that would be correct.
And are you proposing we add the drone and the FTO, right?
Drone, FTO, and some critical skills, like taser, driving, defensive tactics, that sort of thing.
How many officers would that involve?
3, 5, 6 to 9, depending on how we worked out the less lethal. That's kind of what I've kind of would like to discuss with you all, like what you all want to see, because we can incorporate some of those together, I believe.
And do some of these officers perform more than one incentive
Yes.
duty?
Yep, some of them do.
So if I have the number of 31, it doesn't mean 31 officers get paid.
Right.
There's 31 positions that get
31 positions, so it could be 20, because we have some firearms instructors that are also on the SWAT team who are also corporals, that sort of thing, so they get 2 or 3.
Is there any pushback from deputies who do not, who would not be getting an incentive pay, that other deputies be getting paid more than they do? Is there any pushback from that, or do they accept the fact that,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that, I want to go home?
Hey, I've never heard any pushback. I think it's, if you want to get that incentive pay, you can jump up and be an instructor or be on one of these specialized teams. Again, I'm sorry.
So let's just kind of pull it out and say, all right, the incentive pay program, what does that cost us as a total, and you probably don't know the answer to that. I'm not, it'd be hard math to do if you had known
With
that.
the last I looked, when I was doing this before the last budget, I think with the increases that I was proposing, I think it's like 40 to 50,000.
Yeah, and that's a number that I don't want to micromanage the sheriff's office. I'm here to manage the budget.
Yeah.
I'm interested in, all right, in the conversation, Jones, I got $50,000 last year. I need more money to do incentive pay. And I mean, I guess if the treasurer says we've got to approve the incentive pay, but to me, you're the sheriff. You know what you got to, what you got to incentivize. I'm a commissioner. I'm interested in the money.
Yeah. Well, and I think that historically, even on some of these items, there are these positions that we haven't paid. People have done it just for the love of doing it. So, for instance, the drone operator and the FTO, they love it because they want to teach new deputies, or they love it because they want to fly the drone. They want to help track the bad guy, or they want to do the reconstruction, help with the reconstruction. But eventually, as you all know, eventually that love's like, yeah, I still like it, but yeah, boy, I could be watching the World Series right now instead of operating this drone.
I remember trying to recruit people to do honor guard.
Stuff, yeah.
And getting stuck doing honor guard because I couldn't recruit anybody to do honor guard.
Right. And, my proposals, I think, on the new ones, at the most, what I was proposing for the next budget year was 85 cents. So that's less than $1. So you're talking less than $2,000 a year probably. So they're still not, it's not like they're getting compensated a ton or getting rich off of it. It's just a little something. Hey, I know this is a little stressful on you. I know that if we get sued for firearms use or taser use, you're very likely going to be testifying to it, that sort of thing. So it adds extra stress, it's extra time, and I just feel like those should be incentivized. And they are at most agencies.
Let me say this. We've been on for, three of us anyway, been on now, almost 7 years. And we've brought our finances up to where we can start to look at paying people more for what they're worth. I agree with you. Our most valuable asset is our personnel, our employees, at every level. Clerk's office, jail, sheriff's office, every level. And I've been giving it a good bit of thought. And we're to the point now that we have been able to put aside a decent reserve for emergencies, as well as for when projects come in and we need to provide incentives and that sort of thing. We've got some cushion where we can do some things. But I do think that our number one priority is to get our pay up on our employees with the sheriff's department, with every other department as well, because what we know happens within the departments, if we raise one category, say sergeants, now we're compressed up against the bottom line of the lieutenants and the captains and on and on. And so I've been thinking, I think we need to sit down, and I've got this somewhat of a fixation that we ought to be doing budget things at budget time, each thing in its place. But I think that come this budget session, I think we need to do some serious talk about how we're going to pay our employees more. I'm tired of, we have sporadically, we have people that want to move on to another position elsewhere, and we look at it and say the market price, the market wage for this region is X, what we're paying plus X, and so we're not paying enough for that job. And I say I'm tired of it. The people that are having to take the less pay are tireder of it than I am, for sure. But I do think this budget, we need to do some serious analysis of market cost. We know, I think, that every time we pump up, particularly in law enforcement, pump up pay, some of our competition pumps up pay, and we get in that race. But I would like to address all these things. Now, we're talking about 20,000 or whatever overall for these incentives. Is your proposal to address all of these things, wage increases, all this outside of budget, or with the knowledge that we intend to give significant increases across the board? I intend to, and I think we're all in agreement on that. I hope that we are. To sit down at budget time and say, okay, here's what we found through either CAECO or whatever market analysis. Here's the going rate for this position, and if we're significantly below that, we close that gap or meet it. And I think our county has come to the point that we have established ourselves as strong in every category, in savings, in finances, in bringing in employment, and recruiting positions, and in any category that you want to look at us. I think we've been hitting it out of the ballpark, really. And so it's time, I think, to address that with our pay, not only to show our existing people that we appreciate what they do, but when it comes time to hire somebody in, here's an attractive salary that you can come and make.
Yeah, I think that's extremely important, especially, as y'all work so hard to bring businesses in. Some of the businesses that have come in that I've spoke to, one of their first things they want to talk about is the law enforcement presence. Places look at that, and I think, that it's extremely important. And on that note, the last thing that I wanted to speak with you all about was additional deputies. And I know I've spoken to you about this before, but to reiterate some of these numbers, since 2014 to 24, the sheriff's office has had a 43% increase in calls with the same amount of people. We're one of the busiest sheriff's offices in the Commonwealth. I have attached our schedule for this week that's on here, as well as some comparisons to other counties. There's many times where we have, and I've tried not to make this real known to the public, but I don't think the criminals really probably watch fiscal court meetings. So there's times where we only have 3 deputies out. 4 is a normal. So, for instance, last Thursday, from 6 in the morning to noon, we had a deputy take 20 calls in 6 hours. Later on that evening, a collision, somebody involved in a collision had to wait 45 minutes for a deputy to get free and go there. And I just don't think that that's what the public expects. I talk to members of the public, and they say, you only have 4 deputies out? Yes, sir, 4 deputies covering the whole county. And, I think that's a testament to the job they do, because most members of the public would never guess that.
How many square miles is that?
262 square miles.
3 deputies?
3 deputies.
Yeah, I remember we discussed this last year.
Yes, sir. 2
additional deputies was what we were discussing, and I said almost thou persuaded me. And I am persuaded now. And to piggyback on your point is either before budget or during budget. So we got 3 issues. We got the base pay, the grid,
yes,
we'll call. We got the incentive pay, and then we got the number of deputies.
Yes, sir.
And we've just not been in a position where we can fix all three, and we kind of keep chasing our tail on these things. Right. And I am convinced that you, as a sheriff, have to have incentive pay in order to manage the sheriff's office properly, to incentivize the different types of things that you want. Otherwise, you don't have management tools other than charm, right? Yeah. And
I'm short of sometimes.
So I want you to have that skill. I'm willing to vote for the funding. Since our last discussion on number of deputies, every time I see your deputies, I try and talk to them, interview them, and see if they're saying the same thing you are, and they are. So
They agree?
They agree, yeah.
They don't look at you sideways?
No, they don't. And so I think our community and, Judge, you're right, our county, we made some difficult decisions years ago to be in a position. I want our county to be ahead of the curve when it comes to safety. So, but I want to address all three.
Right. I'd love to.
And I'm not. I don't want to give away the farm on it, but I want to address all three at one time and not just end up in we got this, but I don't have the incentive pay to do it. I want to try and do it comprehensively when we do it. I am interested in, and it may be unpopular, may be very popular with some, may be unpopular with others, and that is whether we want to consider creating a special category, or at least a category of employees that we would treat differently with regard to health insurance benefits. And if that's a good idea, because it'll be cheaper, because for every dollar we pay, it costs us $1 in benefits and retirements. But every dollar we pay in insurance does not cost us $1. And so is there some savings that we could have by creating a category of employees, let's say those employees that have to be certified for their job, which would be the deputies, right? But there may be other categories across the county that have to be certified in certain, that we would actually give a different insurance plan. Whether that would, Michelle, you may tell me I'm creating a human resources nightmare, and I'll easily back down. I'm spitballing here, just as a way that we might increase benefits cheaper and not have to pay retirement benefits on some dollars, but put more dollars in pockets. But it may be too difficult to do. Go ahead.
Well, I think if we're going to discuss it, we look at those possible options to see, if we can do it or we can't. I've always been I've always had the mindset that law enforcement, that's a different vehicle right there. Everybody can't do that job, and it's called law enforcement. It's because some folks don't want to do what they want to do, and you have to physically get involved. Well, and we talk about it, but we've never been, well, Judge has, in that situation. So if we're going to sit down and look at it comprehensively, look at dollar ripple effect of that money, that could save us some on the backside if we make some moves, I'm all for that. I think the guys deserve it, and we should look at it more critically.
Yeah, just from timing. So we talk about these budget meetings. We end up, traditionally, we've had 3 meetings in the months of March and April. And we probably don't discuss some of these topics because, we got a lot of topics to discuss in those 3 meetings. And maybe we can have a budget meeting in February that just deals with this particular topic, because I think it is going to take some more.
Yeah,
it's going to take some more talking.
You all always have questions that I want to get good answers for, and that's why I try to come with as much data as I can. And, you know, I think this last budget cycle, after discussing it, especially with Deputy Judge Doolittle, I discussed it with him and said I'm going to bring it back up because I don't want this to go by the wayside, because I know we all go on to different things and different projects and life gets busy, but that's one reason I wanted to continue this in the middle of the year, was to keep it on.
I'd like to comment on the timing of it. We did have quite a bit of discussion with the sheriff back during the budget time and even before the budget time. At that time, it was recommended that we delay taking any action on the sheriff's recommendations, not until the next budget session, but we wanted to get this budget approved, and then after a couple months come back. The deputy judge at the time was going to come back with some recommendations that we were going to consider. I didn't consider that delay until the next budget session. I considered that delay until we had time to discuss in more detail. In the past, we've done some of these increases in steps. We did, if I remember back in the 2023, we increased some on January 1st, some more in the budget session. And I think we should sit down and discuss doing that. The reason we did it in steps is to send a message to the sheriff's department that we were going to take care of their salary issues. And we didn't want to cash in the bank all at once. We did it in, I think, it might have even been 3 steps. I'm not sure. I think we ought to do something with the COLA as quick as we can to get that back in shape, because that's only fair.
And that's only punishing the person, the new hire, right?
It punishes a new hire or newly promoted personnel. Because one of the problems we ran into was we promoted a sergeant who had, or he was not a sergeant, we promoted somebody to sergeant who had gotten the COLAs, and then he came in the 0 year of the sergeant, and Steve and he agreed to do a little finagling on it to try to be a little better compensated.
I agree. That's not a budget issue. That's a language issue.
Again, I think we ought to take care of the COLA as soon as we can. I think we ought to try to come up with a pay increase that we do maybe a small amount on January 1st, just to let the deputies know that we are going to take care of them.
I think that'd be great.
And that we do the rest of what we want to do that on July 1st.
We won't tell the jailers and the clerks.
We're talking about the sheriff's office right now.
Yeah, but they're going to be talking. You can't, I mean, that's what you run into. And I don't disagree, really. I'm just saying everybody looks at what everybody else is making. And,
I think we can justify the sheriff's office because of the duties they provide out on the streets. But anyway, I think we ought to, there might not be support for that, but we ought to just to let them know that we are going to take care of. We've given other employees, of course, it's not really a good comparison, but we've had other employees who have threatened to leave and go somewhere else, and we gave them an immediate increase that wasn't during budget time. And I think it would help.
That's what he said.
Pardon me?
What's our best information? I mean, I guess the union contract happens when a union contract happens, but when's this contract with Paducah expire? I'm just thinking through terms of time.
They go into their next contract July 1. They do contracts every 3 years, so I'm assuming they're going to start their negotiations soon, because their negotiations take quite a while.
But they negotiate for a 3-year term, don't they?
Yes, they have the 3-year. So that's why you can see it. I think it was 643 for the past 3 years.
So this contract will expire June 30th.
Correct. Yes, sir.
So they're probably starting to negotiate now,
correct,
but we probably won't hear the results of that. I mean, I'm just thinking through we do all this work and then they get a new union contract. Oh my God, shucky darn.
No, that's the beauty of they do it for 3 years. Yeah. And we do the budget negotiation every year.
Every year.
And I mean, I think to your point, Commissioner, I think doing it in steps, a little bit January 1 and showing them, hey, we're making progress. I think that would probably be much appreciated. I can't speak for them, but I speak to them every day and hear their comments and concerns. So,
and that's why we did it last time, just to let them know we were going to, because I think there was we were really low before. We increased salaries 20% in 2023 across the board.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all did a great job. And then without the COLAs,
I'm not suggesting we're going to be able to do it this time, but again, I'd like to see us take, as soon as possible, take care of the COLA and at least maybe do the incentive.
What if we did the incentive?
And then hopefully if we can, and if people would agree, do the first and maybe 2 steps or 3 steps of increasing their salaries January 1st. Might only be 1 or 2%, but it just sends the message that we are going to take care of them.
I'll just
we've got the
tell
money
you,
to do
because I'm
that.
here every day. And I agree we need to get them more money. I said that a while ago, but it needs to be across the board. We already pay because the law enforcement is the number 1 priority. If we don't have a safe county, we don't have a good county. And so we give law enforcement more pay. And I definitely want to up that as well. But we can't begin a turmoil within the courthouse of then, I mean, it's just human nature. I don't blame anybody for it. But if we take one department and we give them additional pay in January, but we tell all the others, you got to wait till July, it's going to be a problem.
I agree with you, but if we were to take it, incentive pay always gets it's like the stepchild of this thing. You know, it's like, because if we wait till budget, you know, it's like, well, we gave you that, we're going to do. Maybe we do the incentive pay. We decide we're going to dedicate ourselves to try and decide yay, nay on that in January or December. So everybody you could start New Year with incentive pay. But otherwise, take that part out of the budget process and deal with it. What do you think of that?
We could do that because I don't think any other department gets any kind of incentive pay. So that's a outlier that we could address. And I think from the talk, of course, it'd be nice to have the additional pay in January rather than July. But I'm serious about it. I think you gentlemen are serious about it. And if we look at it, I think if we look at it in January, come up with something, it's going to have to be less than what it potentially could be in July by a significant margin. Because in April, May, when we start looking at all this, we'll sit down and we'll see what our financials are, and we can focus on taking care of this one time in one swoop across the entire courthouse, and you won't cause the personnel, issues that you would otherwise. But yeah, as far as the incentive.
And I guess we could deliberate and decide whether we're going to add deputies then as well.
Yeah. Do the incentive and do the
deputies.
However many deputies we think ought to be.
And the COLA.
I'm kind of with the judge on that, but I don't, it kind of feels like an election year COLA for the sheriff's office, and then we'll give you another COLA in May after the budget process, and,
Well, no, we
I
could.
want all your votes too, but.
I think we could address
I don't wanna do that.
with language. I do think, as I said before, I do think COLA ought to be a part of the grid. It goes to the position, not to the person.
Right.
And we can look at, I think, doing incentive, COLA, and how many, if any, deputies we're going to add.
You mean the COLA fix, the COLA correction?
Grid fix.
Grid fix,
Yeah.
I agree. Let's do that.
And we need to put some language into the grid that says something to the effect of if a deputy, or perhaps across the landscape, if an employee, at the jail, if an employee receives a promotion and his or her base pay is not increased because of that promotion, because they had a lot of time in, say, the lower rank. Now they're a newbie, or a rookie at a sergeant or the next highest level. then if that doesn't result in a pay raise in the base pay, then they go to the second level, or the next level that does result in a pay raise. I don't think you'd ever get to the third or fourth, but maybe you could. You go to whatever level results in that pay raise, because obviously a promotion to a higher grade is a higher responsibility, and it deserves and should be paid for. Yeah. But I think we can do all that. But when we start talking about across the board doing pay raises for that number of people, particularly when you're thinking about it's going to cause concerns among our other employees, I think that ought to be at budget time. But I do think we can give the encouragement and know that we're going to make some significant changes, get that pay up where it ought to be. I hate that we're not paying the people what they deserve, and we can make up for that, I think, at budget time.
I think if we do the incentive and the COLA, I think that will send a message that we are going to do something for them. And I think it's clear from all of us that we're going to do something with
So do you mean, when you
pay
say COLA,
increases
do you
on
mean?
on July 1st, and that we're going to discuss new deputies immediately too.
You mean include the COLA in the grid?
Yeah, correct.
You're not talking about add a COLA.
No,
We won't know what a COLA
COLA
is.
in the grid, yeah.
Grid correction.
Not another COLA, just
Yeah.
I'd just like to keep in mind that, you're going to do it in the budget talks, that to keep closing that gap, because, the past years, obviously, there's been that COLA, but it hasn't closed the gap with some of these area agencies. So, but, additional deputies, do you all want more data on that?
Are you going to want more than two?
No, I mean, I'd love to. What I've said was I've laid out my goal vision for the sheriff's office, and two is a great start. I think two would help them out immensely on the road once we were able to get somebody hired and trained up.
I expect we get there.
Yeah, you persuaded me on two.
So if I'm out in McCracken County somewhere and I need to call a deputy, it may take them a minute.
Sometimes, yes, sir. Yep. Yeah, and we try our best not to. We have the county broken up into 3 zones, and typically they stay around in their zone, but a lot of times if I'm in what we call our east zone, I have to go over to the central zone to help the central zone deputy with a call that requires 2 people. So there's a lot of running back and forth, especially at night when they have a serious incident. There's times where they call me at night, and every single deputy that we have working is at one incident.
I think we can talk about that.
And when I say two, I'm not saying that you don't need more.
Right.
I'm just saying from a management and the fiscal court's standpoint, it makes sense to do it
Right.
two this time.
And that's why I laid out a
and keep
four-year plan,
Right.
Because can't get Christmas every day. But
Well, you also got to consider, obviously, the more deputies you put on, the less money there is per deputy to pay the guys and gals that are on.
Right.
We got a pot of money to pay to the sheriff's department for wages. If it's a bigger number, then each individual is getting less of an increase than they could otherwise.
Yep.
But so there's a balance in that.
Absolutely.
How many do we need, and how much can we pay?
Yeah, and I think every time you all have asked me, I've said that the priority is always going to be to take care of the deputies, the employees that we have now. That's who we need to take care of. And at the same time, they a lot of times go home dragging because they're so wore out. So that is a quality of life issue as well, especially when there are days where they can't get off because there's somebody sick. We have 2 in training, that sort of thing, and their time off gets denied. That not only is that a quality of life, but eventually that starts wearing on you. And it wears on the supervisor having to say no as well.
Yeah. Well, I think you can tell your folks that we're going to take care of it.
Yeah, why don't we just tell them? Is that good?
Well,
We're gonna take care of you guys and ladies.
I want to comment too, while we have all these deputies here. I get very few complaints about the sheriff's office for the number of interactions you have and the people you have to deal with. I'll say I don't get any complaints from any sane people.
Yeah.
There's some people out there who use the internet and who are a little bit out there, but I think our sheriff's department does a good job. They're very professional. Again, I get very few complaints, or I don't really get any complaints,
I appreciate
as
that.
I said, from people who are sane.
I think it's a good testament to them and the training that they work through. We have people out of the range right now doing night fire. So
Hold our feet to the fire. January,
I will.
February, tell us.
I think
I thought y'all were going to talk about this. the three things we agreed to talk about.
Yes, I'll do it.
all right, thank you, sir. Where are we now? Where we need to be?
Oh, somehow.
We are E.
E.
Lord, my letter's in, so I couldn't read.
Okay, E.
It is hereby ordered that the budget allocations for outside funding for fiscal year 2025-2026 be paid per the attached listing. Reedland Farley Baseball Softball, $10,000. Lone Oak Youth Baseball, $10,000. Heath Baseball Softball, $10,000. Lone Oak Tennis Association, $4,000. Brooks Stadium, $15,000. CASA, $26,000. McCracken County Community Career Endowment, $2,500. Paducah Civil Air Patrol, $3,000. McCracken County Civic Beautification, $1,500. Cassidy's Cause, $4,950.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, no. That carries. Ordinance.
Second reading, Commonwealth of Kentucky, McCracken County Fiscal Court, Ordinance Number 2025-12, an ordinance amending McCracken County Ordinance Number 2025-08 by making revisions to the proposed fiscal year 2025-2026 operating budget by modifications in receipts from Sheriff's insurance proceeds, Sheriff's miscellaneous and DOJ drug forfeiture in strict compliance with the mandates of Kentucky Revised Statutes, Chapter 68. Summary, the present ordinance makes revisions to Ordinance 2025-08, McCracken County proposed fiscal year 2025-2026 operating budget pertaining to a modification in receipts from Sheriff's insurance proceeds, Sheriff miscellaneous, and DOJ drug forfeiture. Certification, it is hereby certified by the McCracken County Fiscal Court that the present summary represents an accurate official statement of the main points of and contents of Ordinance Number 2025-12. Public inspection, Ordinance Number 2025-12 shall be available for public inspection in its whole and complete form in the McCracken County Judge Executive's office during ordinary business hours.
Motion.
Second.
So this is revenue neutral. We're going to spend $113,000 more, but the sheriff has either gotten insurance money or drug money to pay for it. Is that,
Yeah, so the insurance proceeds, when those have car accidents, whatever, that money in, and we have to pay for expenditures out of their current line. So I'm putting that money back in their current line to make them, so we're not penalized for those.
gotcha. And we're putting more money in the sheriff's miscellaneous fund. Is that money from the general fund?
No, that is, they get reimbursement from DEA for overtime.
All right.
For certain things, and that's what that.
So from a taxpayer standpoint, it really isn't costing us any more money.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you. I'm for it.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That carries. We have no need for executive session. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, we're gone.